What's up, y'all? You are listening to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative M Projects. I'm your host, Melissa Sharee.
And I'm your co-host, Eric Seats.
Yes, we are in the building, matching hats today. See, don't be copying me.
I'm trying to keep up with you.
Oh, okay, because I got to keep up with you. But you know what? Speaking of keeping up, we got to keep up with this feature because this feature today is fire. Y'all, let me tell you about our feature. He is a New Yorker. I don't know if that's how you say it or whatever, but he is a prodigy in his own right because, listen, he taught himself to play a variety of musical instruments such as drums, keyboard, bass guitar, just to name a few. He can tell us the other few as we talk to him. He later went on to Man's College of Music to further his studies and perfect his craft. Y'all, you know where it started? I read in his bio, the church, something about the church. I mean, okay, we won't sidetrack right there. ONREE's insatiable passion for the industry has taken him to new levels and afforded him the opportunity to work with an array of artists. I'm about to name drop because you know what? We should just do it because not everybody can name drop. John Mayer, Eve, Missy Elliott, Kelly Price, DMX, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Stevie Wonder. You got to say that with a little Gwen Stefani, Lynn Kravitz, Carlos Santana. Now, y'all know he makes some good shoes. Eric B., Anthony Hamilton, Angie Stone. Y'all, this list, Big Daddy Kane, Naughty by Nature, Dez. Ayanna Van Zandt, James Hall. Yes, James Hall and Worship and Praise take me back right there. Jade, Petra, Bono. I mean, you guys, it goes on and on. I gotta say Usher because you know. This is my confession. Okay, anyway, Alicia Keys. It goes on and on. There's still more to come from this electrifying sensation, whether it is in the areas of music director, songwriter, producer, or composer. The sky is the limit. And ONREE GILL, our feature today, is willing and able to take it all on. Welcome, ONREE.
Wow, that was
great. Good friend, ONREE. Welcome, so.
Thank you, man. I felt like I was about to go preach. I felt like she was announcing the preacher.
Melissa does set you up right all the time.
Yeah, she set me up lovely. Thank you guys for having me on your podcast. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk shop.
Yes, talking shop. Let's start off with that New York hat, though, because it definitely draws my attention. So, I mean, you started out from the boogie down or what?
Yep, I'm from the boogie down. I lived about 6 blocks away from Yankee Stadium. So, you know, my first job ever was at Yankee Stadium. I was a vendor selling ice cream. Get your ice cream here. That's what I did. So I'm a hardcore, you know, Yankee fan for life.
Something about New York, y'all. I feel like New York and music. I mean, tell us, how did you get started in music? Was it just kind of in the air in New York City or what?
Well, you know, it's funny because my father was a musician. So he was a songwriter and he worked with like groups like GQ and Freddie Jackson. And so I was always around music. However, my mom used to take me to church. And I'll never forget it. It was this guy who played drums. His name was Clark Campbell. And he intrigued me by playing, like it just mesmerized me. And I used to watch him play and it was all over from there. That's what I just got the bug and I wanted to do nothing but play music. That was it.
How old were you then?
Man, when that happened, I probably had to be about, I know there's pictures, my mom has pictures of me in like a diaper playing with a drum set. So I'm gonna say I'm probably around 1.5, 2 years old, somewhere in there. You know,
I can relate.
Yeah, I know you can.
Whoa,
that's awesome, man. I've known this young man for a very long time. When I lived in New York City, I always called on ONREE when I would have to put bands together and things like that. So the beautiful thing about you, man, is that even when she read that bio just now, so ONREE and myself just recently we went live on behalf of the late great DMX because we were both band members for D, and so ONREE hopped on, and I'm just looking at that resume or whatever we want to call it, and I'm like, man, I did not. As long as I've known you, I didn't know that you did all of that. But I guess that goes to it. Just what I'm trying to say is he's a humble cat because I've only known of who we worked with together.
Right.
You weren't walking around name dropping and wearing tour jackets and things like that. So, I mean, But I was just really flabbergasted, man. And I'm like, wow, everything makes sense now because he's such a calm, collected dude. You know, you've been consistent. I've known him for like 20 years now, it seems.
Yes, sir.
But man, it's just so dope, dude. And I'm glad you joined us today.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having. And those are like I call them the golden years, man. We had so much fun playing and working together, you and I, when we did DMX and we did Missy, man. And you were the MD. It was listen, you were an amazing MD, and you know you held the ship together for sure.
Thank you, man. I love what I do, and you do too.
Yes, sir.
And you know, and one thing about me, I like, you know, and we all can relate to this. There are some people that are just great at what they do, but they're not likable, or you don't want to be around too much. That, you know, it's not easy to hang out with them, and that's not what the job entails. But it's just easier that way. And so what's funny is, I would call you tomorrow for a show. You know what I mean? And so that's important. The longevity in establishing a great rapport with other individuals, that is equivalent to success to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I would call you too. You know that. So for sure.
I will call both of y'all too. And you know, Onree, I got your number now.
You do. For sure.
Oh, tell me this though, because I'm thinking you started young, right? But what would you consider to be like your first like big break, so to speak? That's a
good question. Okay, so different things happened. So when I was around 15, no, I was probably around 16, I started working doing production with my MPC, my notator program, and my keyboard. I started working with a young man named Christopher Williams. And I started doing some production stuff. So this was like, you know, I was like, you know, I'm 50 today, but you know, I was about 16, 17.
Happy belated, by the way. This soldier just celebrated a birthday. So happy 50th, man.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. You don't look
blessed to be here. Thank you. You know, 50 and I'm still here. So I'm blessed. I'm grateful to that. But so I started out working with Christopher Williams when I was around 16, 17 years old, doing production. And then I got my first break as in performing with, I was a drummer for I'll Be Sure, and we did the Arsenio Hall show. Yeah.
So I saw you before I knew you, because I was one of those kids. Any band that performed on any TV show, I was glued.
Yeah.
And I was probably playing my air drums along to you, man, for I'll Be Sure at 16.
Al was probably at that time, probably like around, I want to say 18, 19, somewhere in that area.
Still, bro. Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean, that was like, it was like electrifying, you know what I mean? So it was like, I'm playing with Al and we get to do a television show. So I'll never forget it. It was amazing. And the Olsen twins were on that show, and they were babies. They were like 2 to 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that tells you how long ago that was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was like So that was like my first major break as in performing, you know, and then I just started working in between here, doing different things and working with different artists and producing and working with a bunch of hip hop artists and, you know, like Kane and Eric B and Rakim and different people just working on, you know, producing. And then I started flipping hats, started producing, doing records. And then I was like, wait, you know, what am I doing in the meantime? So let me just go play with somebody and pay some bills, you know? So I was going back and forth a lot.
I think the best end up multitasking because there are seasons, and when one season is in the down, something else needs to be going on. So I commend you on that.
Thank you.
And that's so dope that over time we do progress when we're consistently and diligent at what we're doing, right? When I met you in 2001, maybe, I was, like I said, I was new in New York. You were already music director for Alicia Keys. And I remember seeing your shows and stuff, and it was always so super dope and well organized. So what's funny is you're not only a musician, but eventually we have to we wear many hats, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me say this. I think when we met, it was in the 90s, right? You and I met because we did Missy in the 90s.
Dang, my bad.
so, and this is the reason why I know. To talk about many hats, I went out with Missy before that, before we went out with her, and I was just the programmer. I did all her programming. So I had like S950s, S1000s, MPC. I had 2 MPCs and a bunch of samplers, and I was the programmer for that whole show. So
that's cool.
So to put it in place, yeah, man, you and I, we've known each other since like 1990, at least 93, somewhere in there, 94. Yeah,
that's right after we graduated together. In 92.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, time is flying, y'all.
Yeah, because I think you and Rapture, shout out to Rap, were doing a bunch of stuff, but I think Rapture and Nissan were doing Missy and some other stuff before that.
Yeah, we were all multitasking. You know, it was go play, go tour, get back in the studio.
Yeah,
and that's a beautiful thing to keep you relevant, if you will. So that's just amazing. I don't want to leave Melissa out. You got any questions, MS?
You know, I always got a question, okay? Because listen, you just turned 50. So to see somebody at 50, you know, doing their thing, we usually don't think twice about that because we're like, you know, age, experience, like, you know, you should be able to be doing some things at 50. But the fact that you said, ONREE, that your first break and 15 or 16 years old, I'm trying to go back. Okay. I'm trying to remember when I was 15 or 16, Seats, when you were 15 and 16, we knew each other around that time. I'm like, how at 15 or 16 were you able to fill such a position in terms of like having it together, you know, to do professional job? Like, take us to that, because somebody listening, they can pick up on that.
Well, it stems from my church background, my roots. At my church, we had Joe Flip Wilson, we had Carlton Pope, we had Kayama Griffin, we had different people. So we had a bunch of, Jeff Davis was at my church. So we had a bunch of people, great musicians that came before us that inspired us. So I was always listening to them and developing my ear and developing my craft, because I had great examples, you know, before me. And another one, the great one, Andre Simmons. So when I started producing, I already had developed the ear of what I wanted to do, because I had heard it being played or shown to me from these guys, you know, prior. So that's how I built my musical IQ, came from my church background.
I like that.
So it came from there, and then it expanded. And then later on, I went to school because I could hear all these great things to do, but I couldn't write it, or I couldn't convey it to an orchestra. So I had to go back to school so I could learn how to speak their language. And I did that. So I could then write orchestration, write scores.
I like that you said that it is a different language. It's also a different tax bracket as well, but we don't go there. It's important to be diverse in music and I love that you said that, because diversity is key. But,
all day.
Don't just focus on a certain genre. Don't be so churchy that you only do, you know what I mean? Like, music is beautiful and well vast, and we keep limited in. Right. I don't even like the term genre. I don't like using it even, but for everybody else's understanding, I think music is music. Only 2 types of music, good and bad.
Yep, that's it. I agree 100%. And, you know, you have to look at it as music is, you can't just be a drummer. You just can't be a guitarist. You will not survive, especially in this climate. You can't survive. You must be, they say, what's the saying? Jack of all trades, master of none. I want to flip that though. You got to be a jack of all trades, because guess what? You can master one and you'll be stuck. But for me, how I used to work, I know not only did I program shows, I played piano, I played drums, I went in the studio, I produced, I played in the studio. So I had to keep making incomes coming. That's a jack of all trades.
Correct.
That's how I survived. I didn't survive just saying, hey, I decided to be at 17, I'm going to decide to be a piano player, and that's all I'm going to do. If you do that, you're stuck. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather be a jack of all trades than a master of one.
I've never liked that cliche, and because I'm like, why do you not have to be a master at it? Because everything is evolution, and over time, we all just get better at what we put our hands to consistently. Yep. So I love that, and I've never agreed with that too. I like that you said that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what kept me going. That's what kept paying the bills, that I could diversify, musically diversify. You know. So
let me ask you this: do you teach? Have you been in that teacher seat yet?
I'm actually fascinated with teaching. I've done at different colleges. I think one in Chicago. I've done a master class. I used to be at a church I used to be a creative director at a church called Oasis in LA, and I used to do master classes for the musicians all the time. I've done master classes for Hillsong in Australia. So I got offered to do a master class at NYU, and I got offered to do one at Berklee College of Music in Boston. I just hadn't had a chance to do it. So I think that's my next step, if I can find the time to do it, you know, because I want to inspire the next generation and really give them the 411 on what's really good. I think they have a false reality of what music and the music industry is, and because you see the glamour on TV, you see the diamonds, you see the cars, you see the lifestyle, but it's really a sacrifice, and people don't understand that. You, Seats, myself, Melissa, we've all sacrificed our lives and sacrificed certain things to be where we are, or to have the accolades attached to our name. It came with a price.
Oh, a big one too. I don't even have holidays anymore in my life.
Yeah.
Because most of the time when you're a musician or, producers, holidays just kind of I haven't been with my family a lot over the years. Just how to, like you said, that word sacrifice, something's got to give, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing else I'd rather do than that. What's the most innocent thing in me is music. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not going to sacrifice not being able to do that for anyone. Everybody else just has to get in where they fit in, because this is what I'm here. My purpose is this,
Right. Well, they say love is a commitment, right? And I say it's the same goes with music. We've committed our lives to it. So this is who we are. I'm 50. I'm not going to, I like to do other things. So, like right now I'm a student pilot, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to get my pilot license. So I like to do different other things, because that's what I like to do, because I feel like there's more to life than music. But however, music is my foundation. I am married to music. Mm-hmm. So, and it will always be a part of me, no matter if I want to get divorced and don't want to be a part of it, it always pulls me back, because that's my first love, and that's just what it is. Mm-hmm. The sooner you accept it, the better you'll be.
Can't deny the gift.
Nope. That's what God gave me, and that's what it is.
Wow. I mean, I'm just blown right now, because I just had a session with an artist this morning, and she was essentially saying, I mean, I can't put her on blast for the things she said, not blast in a bad way, but you know what I'm saying, put all her stuff out there. But she was essentially talking about all of the things that you guys are expressing right now in terms of music, essentially just being like that's who you are.
Right.
Like you cannot separate the two. Like it's in you and it is you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's not just this gift that's separate that you can, just grab onto, but it's like it's within. You're carrying it with you, and you cannot separate what you carry within.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a part of me, and I'm a part of it, And
DNA.
That DNA. And I think this podcast is amazing that you guys are sharing information with people and shedding light on a lot of different topics. I think it's important for kids these days, because like I said, I think they have a false sense of what this life and this lifestyle and being a musician or producer or music director is really all about. It's a journey. It's a beautiful journey. I'm grateful for it, but it doesn't come without consequences. Other parts of your life, sometimes you have to sacrifice, like Seed said. You know, he doesn't have any holidays. It's true. You know, sometimes I wasn't home on most of my holidays. You know, when I used to work a lot. You know, but this part of my life, I call it Act Two. You know, I try to stay home more and work when I need to or when I want to, because I want, like I said, to enjoy the other parts of life, like flying, like, camping or traveling or whatever the case may be, you know? So my whole point is that within us having music inside of us, we have to find balance. And a lot of people don't have balance. They're either all in and it's reckless, or, they're like, nah, this ain't for me. Nah, I ain't doing this. I ain't messing with this. So with that being said, you got to find that balance in between your life, family, whatever it is that makes you, it keeps you going, and music.
That was so profound what you just said. Balance is key. Balance is key. And you know what I love? Art is a huge word. So it doesn't always have to physically be the production or the instrumentation. I'm glad Melissa invited me to join her on this, because this is another avenue of, I would think this is balance.
Yeah.
Why have all of this information inside and can't share it, or can't give advice, or can't ask, and that's the wealth in this life, right?
Yeah.
Other people. And so it's been great for me. She brings on people that I don't know. I bring on people she doesn't know. But at the end of the day, there's a method to this madness, and what's to come out of this is going to be beautiful. And I'm not in a hurry to see it, but that's just how things go when you put energy into something. It has no choice but to grow.
Yes, sir. Well, I think, like I said, I think it's beautiful that you can share your experience and your knowledge and inspire, people old and new and young. You know what I mean? So just like Kobe Bryant, started his career, and he had a great, fabulous career. And then at the end, what did he do? He gave back. He started teaching. And that's something that's important. Once you become a Hall of Famer, like Eric, you're a Hall of Famer for all the things you've done. For everybody else, they need a musician Hall of Fame, not the rock and roll. They need a musician Hall.
I always said that.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm an advocate of people behind the scenes.
Yes.
Behind the scenes makes it happen. We don't know who they are.
Yeah.
But that's better.
Exactly.
But I'm an advocate. Oh, this is crazy you said that. Because years ago, I hit my partner. I said, there needs to be an appreciation ceremony or an award show that's given to the behind the scenes, whatever those titles are.
Yeah. Yep. Behind every great artist, there's a great music director, a great production manager, a great tech. It's people who make that ship run seamlessly. You don't see there's an issue, but these people deal with issues every day and make sure that when you go to that show or performance, that it's life-changing for you. And those people deserve to be honored and acknowledged. They deserve to say, we need to say, hey, Eric Seats held down Missy Elliott, blah, 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 and made things happen. Kudos to him. Salute. And I think that we need to figure that out. We need to do that.
We will. You just spoke it into existence, so we're going to hold you responsible.
Yeah, I'm going to hold y'all responsible too, because you two both need to make it happen, and I think you need to call it Salute.
Salute? That's cool.
Come on, you're on the team now. You're on the team now already.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, Soldier. Do you have any regrets?
I do. I mean, then I think with all great responsibility comes with regrets, So, my son, he's 28 years old. I was on tour, and for an example, and I was in, I think, somewhere like Ireland, and I wanted to go to his graduation, and he told me it was a certain day, right? So I was like, cool. So I made provisions to make it happen, but they changed the date. So once they changed the date, I couldn't get there. So I regret not being able to be there. I sent them a video. I had the artist I was working with send a video, but nothing replaces being there for them. And that's the thing about being a musician or being a traveling musician. It's a sacrifice, and it comes with that, you know, it comes with sacrifice. So you might not be home to celebrate your mom's birthday, or you might not be able to take your son to school or whatever it is. So, I mean, those are the things, the family things are what I regret the most.
And that sounds like it wasn't your fault though, the date changed.
No, it wasn't my fault. I was pissed.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
I know, but
you did what you could do.
Yeah, I did. I tried to do my best, but when it doesn't work out, you feel bad. And then it's like I almost felt like I disappointed my son, but at the same time, I got to make a living, you know, and I got to be there, you know, do what I got to do. So
do what you got to do.
And it's hard to find a replacement to fulfill certain shoes.
Yes, it is.
You can't just find another musical director and say, hey, can you sit in for me? It's hard.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and at that time, I'll tell you, I was just with Alicia Keys during that time. And, you know, how her show was designed at that point, I was the programmer, the musical director, and the arranger. And I played and programmed at the same time. So I was hitting buttons as I'm playing. So I'm queuing up the next song. So if we're doing No One, I'm queuing up the next song on the computer while I'm playing for Falling. So for me not to be there, she couldn't have a show without me being present. I never missed a show ever.
Shout out to Alicia Keys.
And shout out to Lil,
to Alicia Keys. So most of you keyboard players we call y'all octopuses because you're multitasking over there, like you said, just holding it down. And that's a gift too. That's a gift because it's hard to music direct from the drums too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know, you take those challenges on and you figure it out. And by the end of the tour, you sweet, right? So
oh yeah. It's you know, it's second nature then. You know.
Didn't you also do Showtime at the Apollo?
Yeah, I was the music director at the Apollo Theater for 4 years, and it was a great experience, man. I mean, I loved being there. I was just living in LA and New York at the same time, and I had a lot of stuff going on in New York. I'm in LA, and after 4 years, I was flying back to New York once a week, you know, for like, I don't know, more than half the year, and I just got tired, but you know, I missed it because it was a lot of fun, you know, and there's no show like the Apollo Theater. Nothing can prepare you for the Apollo Theater. Anything can happen at any time, you know. So
I missed that show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was, you know, I was honored enough to take the helm after Ray Chu, my boy Ray Chu. Shout out to Ray Chu.
Shout out Ray.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was a great time, and I do miss it. You know, so.
ONREE, the life that you have now, or that you're living now, as it relates to music, is this the life that you intended for yourself to have? Like, if you go back, are you doing what you dreamed about doing and what you had planned on doing? Yeah, that's the question.
That's a great question. Well, I feel like I did the things that I always dreamt of doing and accomplished most of them. So I feel like now I'm more selective of what I want to do. So thank God I'm in that area. So I feel like I've accomplished a lot. You know, for example, will.i.am and we have a song on Mars. You know what I mean? So Quincy Jones has a song on the moon. So I've done things that have been, you know, historic. And I think those things are fulfilling enough for me, you know? So if I do more, I'm cool. If I don't, I'm cool. You know, where I'm at now, I'm really happy at my life right now and where I am in music. I don't know if I'll tour again right now, but
he doesn't mean that, y'all.
Right now, I'm happy, you know, I'm cool. But if the right situation presents itself, if EC said, yo, let's go, I'll probably go with EC's for sure. So I'll say it like that.
It'll be worth it if I
It'd be worth it just for the company alone.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So But I'm really happy. You know, I do film and television stuff now. So I work on a couple of TV shows. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. I can do it sitting at my desk right here. So
this dude is over here modest as all get out. But,
he's definitely modest and humble.
Slowly dropping heavy stuff on us, TV shows, like there's nothing. Those are big deals, Soldier.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Like I said, you kind of on the low about everything, it seems. But I guess you get more done that way too. Aspects, right? But,
well, I always felt like I don't let my work speak for me and not really toot my own horn. A lot of people toot their own horns or want to be, seen. I just want to stay in my corner and be successful and do what I do and keep it moving. If you recognize me or acknowledge me, I'm cool. If not, I'm cool with that too. But I don't need to walk around and say, hey, I'm ONREE GILL. I did this, that, and that. How at me? I'm on, I'm with all the stars. I'm doing this. I know what I've done already. I'm cool. And I think that just worked for me. I don't know about for anybody else, but that worked for me. So that's how I feel about that.
Hey, the reason why I asked you, are you doing what you intended, what you dreamed of, like right now, is because one of the biggest questions, I feel like young artists have, they're always trying to connect the dots of how can I get from where I am to where I want to be. And in some of the people that we've spoken to, like they didn't actually think that they would be where they would be. Like it was never necessarily their intention. So I'm asking because, you started off, you just had a love, right? You just had a love and a passion for music. And you just, it sounds like you just kept moving along and opportunities presented themselves. I'm just, for someone that's listening, how did you connect the dots between back then and right now?
Well, I could never foresee the future. All I knew that was that I needed to be the best I could possibly be. So I had to be punctual. I had to out hustle everybody because I wouldn't say I was the greatest musician, right? Who is, right? But I said, you know what? But I can always be there on time. I can always make sure that I'm prepared with the information. So I just wanted to hustle and just be the best I could be. And I didn't even know where I was going, but I knew I was going to do the best of what I could do. And it just kept evolving for me and evolving. And here I am. I mean, I thought I would do great things because that was the drive in me. And no one can give you that drive. You either have it or you don't, or you have to have it built, create it within yourself. You got to have that drive to say, hey, I'm just going to go on no matter what. Even when people say, you're not that good of a musician. You're okay. I don't see what the big deal is. You have to know within you that you can conquer all things. And you just got to go for it and keep going. And that's what I did. I was like, hey, if I'm doing this, I'm going to be one of the best. Not because of skill, but because of who I am as a person, how I was raised. I need to do everything at this level. And I'm going to give it 150%.
That's the attitude to have.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes, that answered the question. I like it because somebody's listening. They're going to love it. They're going to be like, yes, I'm just going to stay in my lane and keep doing what I'm doing and being the best with what I got.
That's it. That's it. And don't worry. Listen, have those blinders on. Don't worry about what old boy's doing on the left-hand side, old boy's doing on the right-hand side. Just do your thing.
That's where most people go wrong. I think that's where most go wrong, considering what everybody else is thinking about them and their opinions, but you really just like it's all within, and you stay on your path. I'm not gonna repeat what you just said.
No, that's all good. They're looking for acceptance. They're looking for people to say, "Oh, yo, he's dope. Oh, yeah, he's got it." I never cared about that.
Man, I never cared.
If you thought, of course, there's always somebody greater, but I'm gonna do what I do, and guess what? What I have and what God has given me and my gift is my gift, and no one can give you the same gift. Either it's going to be better or worse, because that's their gift. But my gift is my gift. So I'm just going to do what I do with my gift to the best of my ability.
I can't wait till you get this pilot license.
I'm trying, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing though. It's really
impressive.
beautiful. Thank you.
How much longer till you get that license?
I started about maybe like 7 to 8 months ago. So I'm, still learning some things. I'm doing well, but I'm still learning some things. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep pushing.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes,
So
sir.
you clearly have 2020 vision.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, see, I'm already asked out because I can't. we can't fly if we don't have 2020 vision. So
if you had glasses, you could rock. You just gotta have an extra pair. I mean, I used to have 1020, so now I have 2020.
How does that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I was born with 1020 vision, so it's a little better than 2020.
Oh shoot!
So now now my vision has gone down. Now I'm at 2020. However, I do have long arm syndrome, as they call it.
Okay.
So I have to sometimes I have to look at my text. I'm like, whoa, what's that say?
Oh.
But I can still see clearly,
Oh, long arms. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna be like, no, I got long arm syndrome. I don't have no problems with seeing my phone.
Exactly.
I'm changing age over here too, brother. These prescriptions are new, and I'm like, oh, that's what that looks like.
Yeah. It comes with the territory. Hey, at least we still blessed to be here to be able to do that and put on glasses. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So I look at it like that.
Yes, man.
All right, we're gonna start wrapping up pretty soon. But before we do, I have to ask you this, ONREE, because you mentioned it more than once. You talked about kind of the fallacy of the industry, like the deception of it, right? And artists not really having a reality or real understanding. So at what point, and see, you can even jump in and answer this too, but at what point did you notice like that it's not really this, that's all deceit, like that's the cars, the glam, how young or old were you when that epiphany came to you?
I was probably about, I want to say about 20 when that came about. Different things that happened to me. I was working with Sean Diddy Combs for like years. I was myself and Tony Dofat were ghost producers, and we were doing a bunch of records and reproducing and remixing and stuff like that. And I started to make this money and stuff, but I realized that what I thought was important is not important at all. Being grounded and not getting caught in the hype was what was important to me. Like you said, you see the fancy cars and people throw stuff in this business. They throw stuff in your face to get you to do what they need you to do, and that's what it was for me. Hey, here's this money, or hey, I even got offered from Maurice Starr one time to stay at his penthouse in New York so that I could just produce records for him. But what I had to realize was this. I tell people all the time, I'm in the business of music, not the music business. The business comes first. Once I realized that, that's when my life began to change. Because right then, as a youngster, I just want to get put on, as they say. I'm doing anything. I'm hustling. I'm calling me late night. I'll be there. I'm doing stuff for pennies because I'm hoping that my big chance comes and I can move forward and become great at whatever I want to do. And I realized that is just a facade, and that they throw that in your face to control you to do what they need you to do. So, like I said, when I was around 20, a number of events happened to me to make me realize that I need to be in the business of music, not the music business. At the end of the day, there's no friends. You can make friends out of it, but in the beginning, it's business. And you need to know that first and have your business, have your affairs in order first before you do anything. That's the most important thing. Somebody say, hey, I want you to come to the studio, come rock me, play on some tracks, do this. I got you, blah, 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 blah. We're going to do this for this one. And then, this one going to come through and we're going to do great. You can get caught up in that and say, that sounds amazing. I'm on my way. And then, later on, 2 days later, you're hurting like, that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. So I learned, like I said, at a young age, to put business first and do business first. And if they don't really want to treat you with the respect that you deserve, then you just don't do it. And it hurt for me to walk away from some stuff. I walked away from signing the Bad Boy, but I did it because I felt I needed to keep my self-respect.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And I love Puff. Shout out to Puff right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that was what was best for me.
Mm-hmm.
I concur fully. And it's about being grounded. He said it. I was never one to try to hang out with those artists that I eventually would have to work with. Some you can't help when you're in certain positions of music director. You have to be tight with them. But as far as hanging out,
nah. Yeah.
My bank account is not looking like yours. So here's what I'm not gonna do: get caught up in keeping up with the Joneses, they used to say.
Yeah.
And I just always knew, and I wasn't impressed with material stuff a lot, so I didn't have to have it to be, you know, for that validation or anything. And it's not about what you can have; it's about how to maintaining the things that you're able to get.
Yeah, that's it.
So you know, don't dig yourself into the debt. We create our own debt when you're not careful. So I've learned a long time. That's why I'm grateful that I had more 9-to-5 corporate jobs before I started touring and learning organization, you know, our responsibilities at home. So by the time I did go, because if I had toured right out of high school, well, I actually did, but not really. But that would have been a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny, you say that because there's no one really teaching the youth how to really deal with their finances as being a musician. You know, they get hyped and say, oh, okay, now I can really afford to buy this depreciating Maserati. You know, I'm gonna look fly when I pull up doing my thing. But you know, they could have took that money and invested it in real estate or in a house for the future. We only see right now. So I, you know, say to young people, think about your future. Think about what you do now affects your future, affects your tomorrow. So if you got that money that you can spend on them Jordans, instead of doing that, I don't know, put it in Bitcoin, do something else. But just don't waste it on something that depreciates. And like I said, they don't teach us as musicians. This is something we have to learn through experience. And I hope that what we're saying helps you so that you don't have to learn the hard way.
I want to add this too, and us musicians need to start taking care of our health better.
Man.
We don't usually have benefits as corporate world does and things like that nature. So you really have to be mindful of having that awareness and getting yourself checked and being healthy, because you can't do anything without being healthy. So that, you know, just want to throw that in. Musicians, wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lifestyle. That's not just, you know what I mean? Like getting a checkup is great. You know what I'm saying? Like do your checkups and all that. But if you're not paying attention to, you know, what your body, mind, and soul needs on the daily, that's where things begin to take root that become a problem later that only show up in the check-in.
When it's too late.
Yeah.
That's right. That's true. That's so true.
And it costs to wait. It's going to cost more to wait. So nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. Awareness is key. Prevention is key.
Yes, sir.
We're getting healthy, but it's all right. It's part of the arts.
Yep. Part of the journey, right?
It's all part of the journey, y'all. Part of the journey. I'm just glad I was in a girls group and we had an opportunity to sign with Motown. And for whatever reason.
What was the name of your girls group?
Yeah.
We was called Baby Doll.
Come on, Baby Doll.
Come on, Baby Doll.
We gonna make her post pictures of Baby Doll.
But we didn't sign. And all I remember is that it was my mom. I just remember that's in my kid memory. I'm like, nah, my mom didn't want to sign that. It wasn't a good deal. I'm actually real. And at the time I was kind of like, what? That could have been my break.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I'm actually really happy that happened because my immaturity, had I signed with that group, there's no telling where my journey, you know what I mean? The dips and turns that I would have taken because my mind wasn't prepared for the industry.
Right. Yeah.
And the facade and all that. So there are things that happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Amen.
Seats better amen it.
Amen.
But anyway, y'all, man, our time. This has been a really great time, ONREE. I'm so glad that you were our
My
featured
pleasure.
fan.
Man, we got so much. We got to do this again.
Oh, we
Definitely.
can
So much
definitely have you on again. We would love
Definitely.
it.
Cool. Do a part 2. We get into
Right after
some
that
more
pilot's license, you gotta come back on.
Part two with your 2020.
flying high, right?
Flying
2020,
high,
come
flying
on.
high. As we get ready to prepare for Salute.
Right. Okay.
We're gonna bring it back on.
That was
Salute.
nice, Melissa.
We might do our own little version. Okay,
Yeah.
how about
Hey,
that?
that's really dope.
We
Big
can make it
version.
happen.
That'd
can
be
do
really
it. We
cool.
can do it.
Yeah. We call it Salute and you know, just give people their flowers.
That's correct.
Yes,
Really dope.
Give
There's a
people
blessing
their
in
flowers.
that too.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. I'm
Okay.
down for that.
Okay, we're all down now. But before we let you go, is there
Uh-huh.
anything that you would like to shout out in terms of a website, projects happening, how people can find you, connect with you? Do you have an online presence?
ONREE Gill on IG, ONREE Gill on Facebook. You know, I'm usually low key. I usually only talk about stuff that I do. You know, I'm in the works though. I'm
Okay.
working.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, I got a couple of credits flying around and some new ones. So,
All right.
I will share this, then I'll share one. I worked with will.i.am and Jennifer Hudson on the Aretha Franklin biopic coming out. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, you know, hopefully, you know, we got the end credit title song.
Mhm.
When's this airing? I gotta make sure I don't get myself in trouble. But hopefully, you know, we'll get an Oscar. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh
Speak
wait,
it,
when is
brother.
this airing? We was gonna air it today. Do I need to wait
No,
and
you
put it on
good.
the okay?
Nah, you cool.
Because let me know.
I just had to think about it. I'm like, but now we good.
That's
I just
So-
saw the credit for that movie
Yeah.
in the movie theater. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we're good. But anyway, I'm excited about it, you know, about that. And hopefully, you know, maybe, you know, in 8 months or whatever it is, we'll have a Oscar on the table.
Yes, sir.
So
It's coming.
Sweet.
It's coming.
yeah, I'm excited about it. So,
yeah.
but
All
you know,
right.
that's like some of the stuff, but you know, I'm
Nice.
just happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. And if you need me anytime, just give me a buzz.
All right, you are so welcome, and I will definitely remember that. We can give ONREE a buzz. It's on record, y'all. Y'all listening is my witness. Now, Seats, you got anything before we go? Before we do our little outro?
Nothing at all. Congratulations on future success, soldier. We're praying for you. We love you, man. And
Thank you.
keep us posted on anything.
Okay, likewise, back at both of you.
All right, sweet. Okay, y'all. Well, we're going to wrap it up for this week. You have been listening to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative M Projects.
That's right. Creative M Projects is a 501c3 tax exempt organization. And if you would like to donate to this great cause, please do so at creativemprojects.org.
Yes, I love
Right.
it. All right, y'all, we're gonna see you next week. We'll see you. You'll listen to us, whatever, you know, you can see us or watch us. See us or watch us. That's the same thing. You can watch us or listen. See, I'm getting too hype. I need to slow it down. Anyway, until next week, y'all, keep creating from the inside
Out.
Yes.
Inside out, baby.
Inside out. All right.